Imagine a coin that passed through post-war America, through factory pay envelopes, soda counters, newspaper stands, and pocket change, quietly witnessing a nation rebuilding itself after the greatest conflict the world had ever seen. Now imagine that same humble cent becoming the centerpiece of serious collector hunts, error discoveries, auction battles, and long-term investment strategies. This is the kind of coin that turns ordinary people into lifelong numismatists, the kind that rewards patience, knowledge, and a sharp eye. Stay with me, because once you truly understand what makes this penny special, you may never look at your change the same way again. 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny 1 cent no mint mark. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during one of the most historically charged moments in American history. World War II had just ended, victory celebrations echoed across the country, and the American economy was pivoting from wartime production back to civilian life. Copper was once again flowing into consumer goods and coinage after years of strategic rationing. Unlike the steel cents of 1943 or the transitional copper composition experiments of the war years, the 1945 cent returned to a copper alloy made largely from recycled wartime brass, including shell casings. That alone gives the coin a tangible connection to global history, making each surviving example a small metallic witness to the closing chapter of the war. The absence of a mint mark signifies that the coin was produced in Philadelphia, the primary mint for circulating coinage at the time. Philadelphia struck the overwhelming majority of Lincoln cents in 1945, resulting in a very high mintage that exceeded 1 billion coins. On paper, this suggests that the coin should be common, and in average circulated condition, it absolutely is. Yet numismatics is not governed only by raw mintage numbers. Survival rates, condition rarity, strike quality, color preservation, and error varieties dramatically reshape the true scarcity and value of individual specimens. The obverse design features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, introduced in 1909 and still recognized worldwide. Lincoln faces right, with the word liberty behind his head and the motto "In God We Trust" arcing above. The date 1945 sits at the lower right, its clarity and spacing often scrutinized by collectors for strike sharpness and die anomalies. On high-quality examples, Lincoln's hair detail, cheek contours, and coat lines appear crisp and bold, while weaker strikes may show softness in these areas, especially around the ear and jawline. The reverse carries the familiar wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent, with United States of America across the top and the motto "E pluribus unum" centered above the denomination. These wheat stalks symbolize agricultural strength and national prosperity, themes deeply meaningful in a post-war recovery period. On well-preserved coins, the wheat lines are sharply defined, while on circulated pieces, they often flatten and merge, reducing visual appeal and collector interest. Compositionally, the 1945 penny is approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc, a return to the traditional bronze alloy after wartime adjustments. This composition gives the coin its warm reddish tone when freshly struck. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling transforms that surface into brown or red-brown hues. Collectors classify copper color into red, red-brown, and brown categories, and this distinction heavily influences market value. A fully red example preserved for decades without toning commands a significant premium, especially in high mint state grades. Despite the massive production numbers, truly pristine 1945 no-mint mark cents are surprisingly scarce. Most were heavily circulated during the late 1940s and 1950s when small change moved constantly through everyday commerce. Children filled penny boards, shopkeepers scooped cents into cash drawers, and banks recirculated them endlessly. As a result, many surviving coins show moderate to heavy wear, contact marks, discoloration, and environmental damage. Locating a sharply struck, blemish-free specimen with original luster intact becomes far more challenging than mintage alone would suggest. In normal circulated condition, the 1945 Philadelphia cent typically trades for only a modest premium over face value. Depending on wear and eye appeal, examples may range from a few cents to $1. This accessibility makes it a favorite entry point for new collectors building wheat cent albums. However, the story changes dramatically once condition climbs into the uncirculated and gem categories. A mint-state example with strong luster and minimal contact marks may sell for several dollars to several tens of dollars, while top-tier gem examples certified in very high grades can bring hundreds or even thousands at auction, especially when paired with full red color designation. Condition rarity fuels collector demand more than raw scarcity in this issue. The grading scale evaluates surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. A coin graded MS65 represents a gem example with minimal imperfections, while MS67 or higher denotes extraordinary preservation, often approaching perfection. Population reports from grading services show that very few 1945 no-mint mark cents survive at these elite levels, creating intense competition among registry set collectors who aim to assemble the finest possible collections. Another major driver of value and fascination is error coin collecting. The 1945 penny, like all mass-produced coins, occasionally left the mint with striking anomalies. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination errors, die cracks, and double dies can dramatically increase desirability when clearly visible and well-preserved. While no famous double die variety dominates this date the way some earlier years do, minor doubling and mechanical anomalies still exist and are actively hunted by specialists. A dramatic off-center strike or a major planchet error can command hundreds of dollars or more, depending on visual impact and condition. One of the most intriguing possibilities for extreme rarity lies in wrong planchet errors. Theoretically, a 1945 cent struck on a leftover steel or experimental planchet would be exceptionally rare and potentially worth tens of thousands if authenticated. Such pieces are extraordinarily scarce and must be professionally verified due to the prevalence of altered or plated coins in the marketplace. The allure of discovering such a rarity keeps collectors carefully weighing, magnet testing, and analyzing their finds. Strike quality also plays a role in desirability. During high-speed wartime and post-war production, dies were quickly and quality control varied. Some coins exhibit weak strikes with mushy details, while others display sharp definition and bold lettering. Collectors often pay premiums for coins with strong strike characteristics, especially when paired with vibrant luster and minimal spotting. Market value trends for the 1945 no-mint mark penny remain stable, supported by consistent collector demand for wheat cents as a foundational series. While it is not a speculative rarity in typical condition, it serves as a dependable collectible with steady liquidity. Auction results show that top-grade examples continue to attract strong bidding, especially as fewer pristine survivors remain available. Long-term collectors recognize that while the supply of circulated examples remains plentiful, the supply of elite-quality coins is permanently capped and slowly shrinking as coins tone, get mishandled, or are lost. Collector demand also stems from historical appeal. The year 1945 resonates deeply with American and world history, marking the end of global conflict and the beginning of a new era. Owning a coin from that year offers a tangible connection to the emotions, transitions, and hopes of that time. Many collectors enjoy assembling year sets or wartime era sets, placing the 1945 penny as a symbolic closing chapter of the conflict period. Authentication and proper storage play critical roles in preserving value. Copper is sensitive to moisture, oils, and environmental contaminants. Coins should be stored in inert holders, away from humidity and direct handling. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can permanently damage its surface and drastically reduce its market value. Original surfaces and natural toning are prized by experienced buyers, and any evidence of polishing or chemical treatment can severely limit resale potential. The investment potential of the 1945 no-mint mark penny lies primarily in high-grade certified examples and dramatic error coins. While ordinary circulated pieces are unlikely to experience dramatic appreciation, top-condition coins have demonstrated steady upward movement over long periods, especially as registry competition and advanced collecting grow. Error coins offer higher risk but potentially higher reward, depending on rarity, demand, and visual appeal. Educationally, this coin serves as a perfect case study in numismatics. It teaches collectors about the difference between mintage and true rarity, the importance of condition, the influence of historical context, and the nuances of copper preservation. It encourages careful observation, research, and patience, rewarding those who develop a trained eye. The emotional aspect should not be overlooked. Many collectors remember finding their first wheat cent in pocket change or inherited jars of old coins from relatives. The 1945 penny often appears in those childhood discoveries, creating nostalgia and personal connection. That emotional attachment fuels long-term engagement with the hobby and sustains demand across generations. Even in normal condition, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny carries storytelling power. Every worn rim, softened wheat stalk, and darkened surface speaks of decades of circulation and human touch. While it may not command high monetary value in average grades, its historical weight and collectability remain strong. For those lucky enough to encounter a sharply preserved or unusual example, the excitement of discovery transforms a simple cent into a treasured artifact. Ultimately, the true magic of the 1945 no-mint mark penny lies not only in its potential value, but in what it represents: resilience, transition, craftsmanship, and the endless possibility that even the smallest coin can hold extraordinary stories and opportunities. Whether you collect for passion, history, investment, or the thrill of the hunt, this humble wheat cent continues to earn its place in the hearts and albums of collectors worldwide.